Carl here from Brrraaains Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Horror movie review time. If you've seen your share of anthology films, you'll know that finding a great one is rare, simply because a variety of stories, sometimes connected and sometimes not, means mixed quality in most circumstances. One part of an anthology might be fantastic, but the next might be subpar, resulting in a mixed feeling about the overall experience. It is a problem that almost all anthologies suffer from regardless of genre. Yet it is horror that does seem to deliver higher quality efforts than most, and there have been some generally brilliant horror anthology experiences over the years. Which might make it sound like that's what I'm about to describe Tenants as. However, that's not the case. Tenants is not one of these, sadly. But it sure does come close, which to me is impressive enough. However, take into account that one or two of its individual stories are outstandingly good, and it's easy to see why the overall experience leaves strong, positive feelings instead of a sort of middling disappointment. It features the writings of three people, Sean Mesler, Mary O'Neill and Buzz Wallach, and with several others taking up the directing chair for different segments. Tenants begins in very mysterious style, where we see a woman emerge from a cocoon of sorts in an underground parking garage. She finds some clothes and enters the apartment block above. This is Joni, played by Mary O'Neill, and she is searching for her sister Emily, played by Catherine Isabel Easton, who happens to live in this building. Which should make it easy to find, after all. Just ask somebody, or just there are only so many flats, apartments in the building. Except something sinister is trying to stop her, and traversing the floors becomes quite a challenge, especially as she seems to be known herself by people in the building too, and it's these people she interacts with that makes up the individual stories of Tenants. I think it's a solid wraparound and a very clever way to get to the stories, especially as we see, come the end, how the main plotline actually affects everyone in the apartment block. Sometimes gross, sometimes horrific, sometimes funny, sometimes silly, and sometimes emotional. Tenants' stories are varied. But with that comes tone shifts that can also be quite jarring. Compare something like Acting Rash with Hoarder, for example. The former, Acting Rash, is one of the grosser ones, as former child actress Krista Collins is desperate for something to revitalise her ailing career. So, when a short notice opportunity to audition for a major director comes away, she jumps at the chance. There's just one problem. A rash has broken out on her face. No matter what she uses, it just seems to get worse. You can see where this one is heading. But it's an experience that you can't help but enjoy watching, which also applies to the latter Hoarder, just in a very different way. Telling the story of an elderly man, Miles Cranford, who is grief-stricken over the loss of his wife and is living in squalor, much to his son's acquired dazzle frustration. The young man wants his father to move forward and will gladly help, but the older man just can't face a life without his wife. It is incredibly sad, and the pair have such great chemistry that it's easy to believe they are father and son. These are two very strong segments, but the tone shift between them is wild. And that's before you include the likes of the violent comedy horror that is Need Anything, where Clark Wolf and Faina Sanchez are brilliant, both of them in this. Then there's The Photograph, a moody supernatural horror with very little exciting about it. Whereas Nah is stupidly funny and very short. And Laundry Day combines heavy emotional drama with skin-crawling horror elements. Tenants is all over the place. And just to confirm that you're not supposed to be here tries to add even more emotional weight to things, but without earning it. Which does mean it ends up lacking impact even if the acting is fabulous. That is Tenants for you. An anthology horror that hits and misses like so many others. Happily though, I think it's got more hits than miss. It's just all over the place. Those tone shifts are driving you nuts, and the jumping back and forth between these sort of wraparound story can sometimes make it feel like it's dragging on. But as anthology horrors go, I really enjoyed it overall. I think about it now, and it's been a few months since I watched it. I think about it now, and I have a positive feeling about it. I think it's well worth checking out. Have you? If you've got any thoughts on this one, you know what to do? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.